don't know why I'm whispering. Excuse the state of me, I'm in my pyjamas. It's Easter Sunday, so I'm about to be the Easter bunny.
Now that is a funny looking Easter bunny.
Hopefully we'll find the ones that I bought and hid and can't find now that this is done. You excited? Are you girls excited?
Look how excited Bunny is.
She's so funny.
Right, where's my sliders?
Oh, Ted, how come you've got 2 pairs of shoes not in your box? What? Teddy, look! Look, when you chuck it in.
That's all at the same time.
Are you cross about having to get up?
Yes.
Marco, you're such a psycho. Well, Bunny was trying to comfort you then. Look at that spotty tummy.
Every time I see her today, she's rolled over.
Look at that spotty tummy. Look at that spotty tummy. Look at this little psycho. You look very cute, Will.
This is my new outfit.
Oh.
Oh, Dad.
Go on then, Bill.
Oh, Dad, I found a big one.
I'm very tired.
Bill?
Yeah. I'm very tired. I'm blind in one eye, actually.
You're blind in one eye.
Yeah.
Happy Easter Sunday to you. Whatever it may bring in your neck of the woods and whatever your beliefs are. Toby's just taken Bunny out for a walk with Ted. I mustn't lean on the table. So it's, oh, I can't get comfy. So it's relatively quiet here. We've just got the one dog to interrupt. She looks like she's about to start woofing at something invisible on the other side of the gate. I'm surprised my sourdough loaf came out looking half decent because I started doing it yesterday. And lately I've been using Bake with Jack. Been using his method. Because I'm at home and I can do, it's a different schedule of folds. The one that is in my tutorial involves 10 minutes of kneading, and then every hour you fold it in 4. And you do that 4 times. And it works great. You get roughly the same kind of loaf. But Jack has you mix it up, leave it for half an hour, fold it 12 times, then leave it for 2 hours, fold it 6 times, leave it another 2 hours, fold it 6 times, leave it an hour and then do a pre-shape, and then leave it another hour and do another pre-shape. And it's excuse me. So it takes 7 hours, and usually with school runs and just the evening routine, that is not a folding regime that I can fit into my daily life. But it's super easy whilst we're always at home. And I love it. I enjoy the hands-on-ness of it. Cyclists have just gone past, and they're really loud when they chat to each other. They don't realise, because they're relatively often in single file, so they're shouting to one another. Sets Margot off. So yesterday I'd got part way through the folding regime, and then I forgot to set my timer, and it clean went out of my head. So I ended up very hastily shoving it in the Banneton and just hoping for the best. And it's fine, it's not as big as normal, but it's pretty. And I got a nice rise and a good ear, so happy, happy, happy. Oh, I've done a bit of gardening today. I moved a foxglove, a self-seeded foxglove. My hair, such a state. I moved a self-seeded foxglove out of one of my raised beds because I am going to be putting, I can't remember what I'd earmarked that for, that bed. I think I earmarked it for peas. That was a funny noise. I think Marco just did one of those gurgly burps that goes... You're very hot, Poggy. Oh, poodle. So I had to move that, and also the rhubarb's gone rampant. I had 3 crowns and they've just spread, and now I've got about 70 billion. So I started digging them up. I had no idea how fibrous, thick and orange the roots are. I wonder what they'd be like for naturally dying. I might look that up and freeze some for when I'm ready to do it. I know you can get a good colour out of rhubarb leaves. I can't remember what colour. I've actually got a book from the library about natural dyeing. I might have a little leaf through that later if I remember. So I started doing that. I've pruned my olive tree because it was looking like Rod Stewart, and I've probably done it at the wrong time of year, but I'm sure it'll be fine. What else have I done this morning? I loafed about in bed for quite a long time. Knitting, that was lovely. I've got some vlogs to catch up on. My friend Nikki, Clara Peggotty on Instagram, Nikki Winterton on Instagram. I've spoken about her before. She did, she vlogged every day through Lent. Now, let's just do some background history here. when Nikki and I first became friends, there was a group of us, and so there is a group of us that are sort of friends together, and we chat together. And all of us are podcasters and or vloggers. And she wasn't. And she didn't really kind of get it. She didn't love watching podcasts or vlogs at the time. And she wasn't sure that it was ever something that she would buy into. But she challenged herself, partly, I think, just as a personal challenge to see if she could do it. She's one of these women whose brains are big and intelligent, and they need there's a specific word I'm after, and it's not challenging, it's not stretching, it's along those lines, fill in the gap. So she decided she would give it a go, and it was great, it was brilliant, and she kind of really got on board with it and took to it like a duck to water. She's been doing a daily vlog all the way through Lent about her efforts to become more environmentally conscious and sustainable. So it was called Sustainable-ish Lent, because she was just doing what she could do. And she asked for sponsorship, just £1 per person for the entirety of Lent. And she said that sponsorship was going to go towards Bill's school. Over £300 she's raised. Some people gave £1, some people gave a tenner. But, you know, it was just gobsmacking for both of us just how wonderful her viewers were of my son's school. You know, I could understand that sort of money being raised if it was for Nikki and Nikki's son's school, let's say. So it was really just quite humbling. So I'm catching up with those, which is lovely. And I'm just a bit distracted because a news flash just came up on my phone saying that Boris Johnson is out of hospital, which is brilliant news, because the last thing the country needs would be to have political upheaval and turmoil. Right, waffle, as I have. And that brings me back to Valerie's questions. Hi, Valerie. She's chuffed that I've been doing these questions. I wish I'd written down who asked every question. Some of the questions were repeated by several people, though, but it was just that Valerie left a good 12 questions in one comment, so I kind of boxed them together. So she asked, what does waffling mean? And since I've just said I've been waffling on for 10 minutes, 9 minutes, now 10, I thought I would address that. Dishwasher making a funny noise. Waffling is when you just chat away, chat, waffle. It's where you just talk about nothing much in particular. You sort of butterfly your way through conversation. That's waffling. Another question, probably the final one, from Valerie. Why do British podcasters and vloggers put themselves down? I think it's a cultural thing. We are not really raised to toot our own horns. If you're, as a child, chuffed to bits with something you've done, you're running around going, oh, I'm so brilliant at this. This is brilliant. I love it. Because you've got all your childish enthusiasm and you've not got all that self-consciousness. You generally get told to, darling, don't be big-headed. It's not becoming. And it's just the way we're raised. And unfortunately, it's so interwoven into our nature and our character that I don't think it's going to be erased very quickly. Even I hear myself saying it to my boys, like, that's really wonderful. I'm so glad you're really confident about that, but maybe don't brag. So yeah, it's just British culture. I must admit, I'm quite uncomfortable about praising myself. So for example, with the sourdough that I've just brought out, I was able to say how chuffed I was with it and how pleased and proud, despite getting it wrong. But really, I should have just said, I did a great job. But I can't. I can't just do that. I have to either point out the mistakes or give the credit elsewhere. So using the sourdough example, if somebody were to say to me, you are so good at baking sourdough, I would then say, oh, it's not me, it's just this great tutorial I've been following, or it's really good ingredients. I would never... it's not that I wouldn't want to take the compliment because I respect the person issuing the compliment. It's just that I wouldn't feel it was my right to have that compliment. Do you know what I mean? Bah. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to endeavour to make some hopscotch sponges, better known as hot cross buns. I just used the recipe that comes in my bread maker. I've made these before and they're delicious. I'm not going to do the floured cross. I might just do that with ice and sugar. Yummy. My oven's still really warm from baking the sourdough, so I've got the door open. What's that? Oh, that's from making the bread rolls yesterday. I obviously didn't clean that properly. Oh well, it'll be fine. No one will die from that. This is just an old bit of Teflon sheeting that I've had for such a long time. It's probably way past its best, but it saves me from using and throwing away baking parchment. Just wet my hands and wet this to stop this from sticking. Flop it out. Now, I need to make 8. Divide this into 8. Right, that's 2. Oh, raisin man overboard. 3. The dough feels really weird, actually, really chewing gummy. It doesn't feel right, if I'm honest. Oh well, I'm just gonna do that sort of thing with it. I don't know what the technical term would be for that, but I'm basically tucking the edges into the bottom. Oh, this feels really funny. Feels just like chewing gum. Some of these are much bigger than others. I'm expecting these to prove to be pretty big and to all touch one another. Let's pop them in the oven and leave. Look how messy the oven is. Oh, I need to clean it. And leave the door ajar. They can prove for about half an hour, I think. Well, they've grown quite a bit and they feel lovely. Right, let's bake them. Oh, took my eye off them and the timer didn't beep very loudly and I didn't hear it, and wow, they're solid. I need to get up and start the roast dinner, but I can't be bothered. I've just done a little bit more gardening and watering because the soil's getting cracks. We haven't had rain in ages. I've just been answering some gorgeous comments here and I thought I was nearly caught up, but when I checked, I've still got 158 beautiful comments to answer, and I'm just not going to manage it. Well, yeah, I could manage it, but it would probably take me 2 or 3 hours, I think. So I'm just going to whiz through them all, answering questions and clicking the heart, and just take it from me. I've loved every single one of them. I read them as they come in. They pop up on my screen, and I don't have the time. Usually I'm in the middle of doing something else, so I don't reply straight away. So I get to enjoy them when I reread them, so I enjoy them twice. It's not the most time effective and efficient way of managing the comments, I grant you. Oh goodness. Ooh, I shouldn't be tired, I didn't wake up early. Right, let's feed this family and have a bit of a tidy up. Look at that. It's all a bit of a muddle. I've just had a text message saying that the blood donation I gave has been used in Southampton Hospital. So I hope that whoever received it is doing very, very well. I might not have talked about it on the vlogs. I think I definitely did on my Instagram stories. You get... Oh, my gravy's bubbling like Billy out here. That's fine. Just reducing some wine down for the gravy. So you get 15 minutes to give 425 mils of blood. If you don't make it to 425 mils of blood in 15 minutes, you've wasted your blood. And mine kept drying up, the flow kept stopping. So I was doing everything I could to keep it going. The nurse was doing everything she could do. In fact, she did some things that she wasn't really allowed to do. I was saying, just give it a wiggle. And she's like, I'm not allowed to do that. I was like, I'll give it a wiggle. 2 minutes. I'll give it a wiggle. She's like, you're not allowed to do that. I was like, we've got to get this pint out. We've got to do it. It was so empty. Normally it's thriving. I'm getting ready. Normally it's thriving, and this time it wasn't. So I really wanted this pint to be successful, and it was, with something like 6 seconds to spare, 8 seconds, something like that. I don't know. I am prone to exaggerating.
We're going to be late.
We're going to be late for our family Zoom quiz night.
You write them down on a piece of paper, because I think if we all call out, I'll get very confused.
Okay.
I'll pass on the first one. I'm already confused, sorry.
Next week.
I've actually got a PowerPoint if we need one. What is the national airline of Israel? Which of the following is wider, Australia or the moon?
The moon is quite small.
We're in with a cracking chance here. It's 50-50,
The
baby.
moon, it's a long way away.
What do you think?
Australia must be about 4,000.
They can lip read as well, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Or was that secret? Trish, you can't see what the moon is. I'm outside. Yeah, that's a good way.
Hey Siri. Hey Siri. What's the capital of Bolivia?
What do you think Gamer doing? You're like, hear no evil, see no evil.
There goes La Paz. Gainer. It's La Paz. Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
No, I'm not doing this.
Name the
What was the question? What?
Name the 5 largest.
Don't.
Oh,
Oh, not cheap. Oh, of course it is.
Before becoming famous, which chef went to prison for breaking into a burgling musician Paul Young's house? You'll be
Steve Smith. Chevrolet.
Chevrolet?
We are smashing this round over here.
Well, I'm so
What's spell Chevrolet?
Well, that's good. I've
Chevrolet. Something like that. That's
How do you
close enough.
spell Chevrolet?
Oh, that's a good one.
You know that, don't you?
Press
Don't say it.
we've just had a brilliant time doing a quiz with our family. Well, Toby's family. And Louisa, oh, she just did us proud. She's just amazing. She's amazing. She even had PowerPoint screens that she cut into our Zoom meeting. Oh, she is amazing. She's a teacher, and hats off to all those teachers out there. I've burnt everything. All of our supper is burnt. It's now 8:05. Look at that. But everybody is happy. Everyone's happy. We've all just had a lovely time together en famille, and after the quiz was over, Granny got straight on the FaceTime to the boys because they weren't there for the quiz, and she just misses them, you know. She's always said she goes for 2 weeks, and she's always said, I can't go more than 2 weeks. I just get an ache. I get an ache. She lives 3 hours away when the traffic is good, so probably 4.5 hours away, but their entire lives, she has never gone more than 3 weeks without seeing them. So this is the longest they've gone without seeing Granny. And I think this might be the first Easter in a decade that we've not all been together. Next year.